Kyle, Terry McLaurin not at Commanders minicamp that opens up today as he continues to seek a new contract from the team. McLaurin's in a similar position to the other minicamp holdout, DK Metcalf, in that they were both picks in 2019 entering year 4, and because they were not first-round picks, they don't have fifth-year options on their contracts, so they are in low-paying contract years right now. With McLaurin, he obviously has outplayed his draft status as a third-round pick, 222 catches for 3,090 yards and 16 touchdowns. This now also raises the question, if there's not progress toward a deal prior to training camp, is McLaurin also willing to continue sitting out at a time that there are financial ramifications, fines, and otherwise?
You look at this as one of the truly positive things that are going on with the Commanders right now. A guy, like you said, Tom, they nailed their third-round pick. They have an excellent player who never says anything and will catch balls from any quarterback they put out there. And yet here we are, Darius. He's not there. We don't know what the future is in terms of the franchise and paying him or not. When you hear this, as Tom lays it out, what do you think, Darius?
I mean, it's the Washington Commanders, so it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense at the same time. I mean, this guy's done everything right from the beginning. And if you look at the market that's been set for the wide receivers that's been getting paid this offseason, I mean, he wants more money, rightfully so. He's done everything the right way since coming into the league. He's a great guy to build your culture around, which obviously this team needs. And this is me again. I'm making a pitch for a big-time wide receiver to move down to Indy. Look, give him the money. We have the money in Indy. Jim Irsay said earlier this offseason, we're all in this year. We already opened up the trade window, giving you Carson Wentz. We gave you a quarterback. You know, just send us back here. You drafted a rookie out of Penn State, Dotson, to replace him. He would be a great guy, a great weapon for Matt Ryan to have. I know I asked for OBJ yesterday, but today I'm asking to bring Terry home, an Indiana native, a Hoosier, a culture guy, a captain at the wide receiver position. I think his second year in the league, that's almost unheard of. So we need this guy in the building down there in Indy. Washington clearly doesn't want him. They don't want to pay him his money. And he's holding out and giving up money not being there. So he's obviously serious about wanting out. So bring him down here in Indy. We need him.
The Colts is a great call for sure there, Darius, just because at least now they have Matt Ryan there at center, so they have more stability at quarterback, where right now he clearly is seeking that stability in the QB position. Yes, Carson Wentz is there, but this is essentially his last stand. It's one more year. And so if you're Terry McLaurin, you're looking at this, oh boy, here we go again. Look at the list of quarterbacks that he has played for. Kyle, you had alluded to it before. Since 2019, Kyle Allen, the late Dwayne Haskins, Garrett Gilbert, Taylor Heineke, Case Keenum, Colt McCoy, Alex Smith, and yes, Logan Thomas as well. So there have been quite a few quarterbacks. So the frustration obviously evident for him. Not only does he want to get paid, but he does want some stability. And he's also a leader as well. Commanders receiving yard leaders over the last 3 seasons, Terry McLaurin far and away the offense for Washington there. And I mentioned him being a leader. Washington needs someone like him to be the face of the franchise. Washington has found itself in a lot of these uncompromising positions of late over the last few years, and having them there as their wide receiver, as their face of the franchise would be critical. I just don't know if they could bring him in there and convince him that the future is going to be bright at the quarterback position with Carson Wentz, because as we mentioned, he has 1 year to prove himself here. And at this point in time, we saw what happened in Indianapolis and in Philadelphia. And for Washington, they're hoping that they get the version of Carson Wentz that was in Philly following his rookie year, Kyle.
I agree, and maybe they will or maybe they won't, but they already have their own homegrown talent right here. And for a team that often makes mistakes and missteps and whatnot, this is just something that would be universally applauded. You gave Terry McLaurin his money. Great dude, great pick, great player. He is your guy. There is no one who would question that. I don't think there's anyone saying, hold on, we need to see more McLaurin. No, it's exactly what you hoped for. This draft pick worked out. And yet, as I say here, saying they should do that, I'm doing what Darius is doing. I'm going shopping for them. I'm telling you a different team. And Will, all those quarterbacks you listed that he's played with, I have one who is a former teammate of his that is not on your list, and it's Justin Fields. Bears break the huddle week 1. With this lineup. No. Give me the lineup. Give me the full skill position set that the Chicago Bears would have. Fields, Montgomery, McLaurin, Mooney, Pringle, Kmet. Now we're playing. Now maybe we can make a run at this division. Now Fields makes a jump. Now he's got a guy, a former Buckeye, who he can grow old with and grow into the Pro Bowler. I like this move. And I tried the same thing, Darius, when it was DK. I said, Chicago, just call Seattle. Just see what they're thinking. See what they want to hear from you. And I understand that the Bears are being frugal and they're just trying to be very conservative with all their things and their reset, and I get it. But God, he's a really good player, and he's sitting there, and he likes your quarterback and has a history with them. Tom, you have a finger on this pulse more than anybody. We can sit here and say he should go to this team or that team. What is the likelihood or probability that the Washington Commanders would actually move Terry McLaurin?
Never say never on anything, Kyle, but I think that one thing, even though we've seen, yes, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill get traded, we've seen other receivers who have been unhappy in one regard or another who have not been. San Francisco has dug in to this point on Deebo Samuel, refused to move him for what they were offered prior to the draft. The Seahawks have been offered high draft picks for DK Metcalf. They have not decided to move him. The Commanders not only have McLaurin under contract for this year, they can tag him. They can tag him again. They've really got 3 years of team control here. Now, obviously, nobody wants it to get to that point, but it's complicated because of where the numbers are going in terms of the money on the wide receiver contracts. Now, every receiver who is coming up wants $23, $24, $25 million per year. Absolutely, with everything going on with the Commanders, this would seem like a no-brainer, feel-good type of a move, but you saw that graphic with the top receiving yards of their players in recent years. Number 2 on that list, maybe their second best offensive player behind McLaurin, is J.D. McKissick, who they didn't even make an offer to until he accepted an offer from Buffalo. Then they started calling him going, whoa, 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 we actually want you to come back. That's just kind of how the Commanders have operated here. And if they wait too long on McLaurin, you get to a point where the receiver market continues to go up. The player gets more and more frustrated. You don't end up getting a bargain by waiting. And so we'll see how much they're willing to move here in the month or so leading up to training camp.
Darius, we're tight on time, but end the hour with this. His game, Terry McLaurin, you look at him, we like him, we see him, you have him in fantasy, you see him in the highlights. Is he truly one of the young stars who deserves a big-time contract, or are we just maybe overrating him?
Oh, no, absolutely. He deserves everything coming his way. And I think he'll get paid either by Washington or another team. But, I mean, he's one of the best receivers at the moment of truth in the league. When that ball goes up in the air and it's a tough catch that needs to be made, Terry McLaurin's going to make it. You see the roster of quarterbacks that he's caught balls from, similar to D-Hop or Allen Robinson in his career. He can play with anybody. You got to pay him.